Microphone check, check, check. What's going on, family? That's right, y'all. Welcome to Monday Quality Talks, number 41. I hope that you can hear me well. Please do let me know. Welcome to all the Boddhists. Happy Monday. Welcome into a new week filled with opportunities. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Let me see. All right. Let me see if the sun is here. Should be good. Welcome to Monday Quality Talks. As I just say, it's Monday, the 8th of November, 2021. And we're talking about African doers. That's right. I have been awarded amongst 500 other beautiful and successful fellow African sisters and brothers around the world as one of the most influential African in the world. So that's very unexpected. Actually, I found out through my good friend Defustel, whom I had on the show a couple of months ago, Defustel, and he tagged me on one of the posts, and I was just like blown away. I didn't expect that at all. So, well, we're going to talk a little bit about that and definitely talk about other things. I won't be doing a long show today. I have a lot on my plate with this album and singles. There's just a lot. There's just a lot. So you're gonna have to forgive me for not being able to do a proper full hour or maybe two. But I'm sure you will understand why when the whole project comes out. Thank you very much, beloveds. Nerida, what's going on, sister? Versace Boy 90. That's right. Queen Teresa Russo, what's going on? Blessings indeed. Wow. Yo, such an amazing accolade, I have to say. One that was absolutely unexpected. And really encouraging because, you know, it means that the work that I've been doing is not in vain and my contribution is really, you know, I guess being recognized by my peers and outside of the music industry as well, which is really a very good feeling, you know. And so yeah, man, you know, it's an interesting feeling, very interesting feeling. Doesn't take away from, you know, the focus and the desire to really be, you know, laser sharp, aiming at my goals. But you know, it's encouraging. And Emmanuel Etienne, what's going on? Lorraine, bonsoir indeed. Welcome everyone, y'all. Man, so much going on, yo. So much going on. This weekend I was in London and Manchester. I was invited by this promoter to do two shows. One obviously in London on Friday and one on Saturday in Manchester. The shows were right, you know. It's interesting because as I was getting that news of, you know, being the most influential. One of the most influential, amongst the 500 most influential African women and men around the world. I also had a very interesting correlation with these events, which were not necessarily attended the way the promoter had expected. I don't know what, you know, they thought would happen if the promotion had been done a bit better. Probably there would have been more people. If there was probably, you know, not many artists in the city that same night, probably would have made a difference. But nonetheless, you know, the way I function is that it doesn't matter how many people attend. I am paid to deliver a job, and I'm going to do that job. That's always been my motto. That's always been the way I work. Because yeah, it's important to honor whoever is here and present at that time. Has to be honored, and I'm so glad that I was able to do once again what I love, and that each and every one of those who were present both in London and Manchester really enjoyed it and went back home with a really good feeling. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? So you get that news about the award, and then and then at the same time you have that very interesting reality check, which doesn't obviously invalidate anything that I'm doing, but it's just an interesting contrast, and it goes to put things in perspective as to, for every good thing that happened, there's got to be something negative to put it back into perspective. And often we wish that this was not the case. We call for these kind of things to not happen, to be preserved from any negative experience that may affect our happiness, our joy, our excitement. Um, but we need those moments. We need the contrast. We need that very thing that's gonna yeah, keep you in check. But we also need the other side of things, which is the thing that gives you joy and gives you some sense of solace, and you know feeling that you're doing something right. But I was really interested. I was really struck by that. Yeah, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, it's pretty amazing that you know um, this happens the way it happens. And it's also interesting how people perceive you, or they have a perceived idea of you until they meet you, and then they're like, oh shit, you're actually really cool. Why would I not be? The only way I might not be cool is if you don't treat me with the respect that I deserve, or the respect that I give you. If it's not given back, you know, it's okay. But in this case, it was great experience. I have to say, like um, no matter the attendance, the vibe was really great, and um, it was in no way, and again, it was in no way a negative thing. Huh? The event went well. I mean, it wasn't as crowded as the promoter expected and as I expected. But again, it's the laws of the nightlife. It's the laws of making and running events. You're gonna have big successes. You're gonna have not so many big successes, and it's okay to talk on them, and it's okay to you know to take those as well, because it's part of it all, right? There cannot be highs without lows, and it's just called balance. It's just called balance, and it's very important. Eliana, what do you do? Oh, Rafael, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. And so, I really believe that very important thing to always keep in mind is the absolute necessity to stay humble. Because you see, life does come and check you all the time, all the time. Whether you expected it, didn't expect it, you know. Today, for example, I had to take a very unexpected decision. Well, unexpected, but I started to see some patterns moving a certain way in the business aspect of things, and I was like, it was a very long and exhausting day. A lot of meetings, calls, this and that, here and there, running, and yeah, I had to literally just like say, okay, look, we need to realign a few things and organize ourselves so that we really move towards a true success, instead of just doing things to do them because we need to meet a schedule, you know. And interestingly enough, maturity comes into play when it comes to this conversation, because a couple of years ago I would have not done that. I would have probably gone for it and probably hit a wall. I would have taken my loss with me, no problem, but I was still gone ahead. Whereas now I'm like, no. There's just a bigger picture to this whole thing, that is called, building the empire that is yours. Nourishing that vision, nourishing that, that manifestation that you want to see happening in your life. Sometimes you got to step back in order to step forward much further, right? Align your team, make sure that everybody's, is giving in, the point of views, the ideas, everything is, properly set up so that it can be an actual move for an expected success. And so it's interesting how, this year 2021 has unfolded for a lot of us. Many of us did not have the chance to make it through this year, and we pray that we are preserved and protected, and blessed accordingly by the creation. But we gotta live now, and we gotta make sure that we build for tomorrow, understanding that living now is very important. And so as I keep that in mind, and as I just said, I'm also working for the future, I realize that, wow, sometimes you have to take a little moment and look back at what has been done. Because, when you're so focused into what you're doing, you lack perspective indeed. And you need those moments of like, little, bumps along the road to sort of like, help you do that. Not that you're too caught up into your own hype, because that's just not my personality or even my education. But yeah, certainly not my personality. But moment that you realize that, okay, well, yeah, okay, cool. Let's look at what has been done, what can be next, what can be, worked on to be better. And what works, well, we enhance it. But what is interesting about, success and the perceived idea of success and also the perceived idea of influence is that it is at the end of the day a very tricky thing, because if people perceive you to be an influencer in some way, shape, or form, you have got to understand what it is that you're influencing, and who it is that you're influencing, what it is that you're trying to accomplish by influencing people, and I take, for example, the tragedy that happened this weekend with the whole Travis Scott, shit show, man. That's it's again, but we talk about completely different measures here. But like, when you get so caught up into your own shit and you got like such a massive fandom that's so caught onto you and hooked on the drug that you are, because you become a drug to them. You become whatever it is that is their balance. You're like a guide, right? Kristen, what's going on? Welcome. And that influence that you have in the case of what happened to during his concert is a true depiction of a lack of responsibility. For example, I'll give you a very example, and I'm not saying that it is easy when you're doing a live performance to perceive sometimes what's going on in the room, but it's part of your job. As a DJ, I need to be able to read the room. I need to be able to understand, okay, this guy, and this guy, and this guy, okay, I see the kind of vibe they're about. Those girls, all right. And it's the presence that you have in how you play the music. And sometimes when things get heated, people get super excited, because the party's just going wild and having a great time. In those moments, the energy levels are really, really high, and therefore there can be frictions, and there can be situations where, things get out of hand, right? And that also has to do with the security as well, and how well trained and well equipped the security and the venue is. But let's just say that, should all these things be aligned, and you as the performer, the artist, even if you're into like, let's get lit, let's fuck it up, still understand that there's got to be a limit to the level of let's fuck it up happens. You will be able to assess and be aware of what's going on at some point, if you truly are one who says that they care. I mean, I have had a situation years ago. It was what was it? I think it was in the UK, many years ago, and there was a fight that broke in the venue. I can't remember where it was. It was probably no, it was in London. It was in Manchester. Yo, reduce the volume of the music. Uh, and we were like, no, this is not happening. Get those guys. We don't need that kind of energy. And I was straight up serious about this. I was like, if this continues, I'm stopping. Do you think that anybody was gonna let this shit happen? Of course not. Took the guys out, and the party continued. But and of course, at times it's very difficult. I had a conversation actually. Papa Kesha, welcome with Kesha earlier today, and you should go check out his club shout out from yesterday. He actually speaks on that, and he gives his perspective as a performer on what happened this weekend for that Travis Scott. But to the point of my on that Travis Scott concert, but to the point of what I'm trying to say about being an influencer and being awarded and decided to be acknowledged for, given accolades for what it is that you are and you're doing. I find it interesting when people say, well, I'm not responsible for this or that. You're certainly not responsible for what people decide to do, sure. But you certainly are responsible to make sure that whatever you can have some sort of positive influence on, you do your best, right? But however, yes, you're right. You're not nobody's mother, nobody's dad. You know what I mean? But you've got to understand that because you're in a position where people look up to you, whether you want it or not, you should understand that when you become a public figure, you become somebody that's remarked as and regarded as. You have a responsibility. Otherwise, don't do it. Because there's going to be impacts. There's going to be consequences to some of the actions that you take. And so it's just sometimes unfortunate how people just abuse of their influence. But it's also a reminder that we are just humans. We are just human beings, and we can't really do anything about that, really. And yeah, I really have to say that I hope that this guy wake up and really, really realizes that when you start fucking with certain type of energies, especially the type of shit that he was pushing with this 666 situation, the whole devil, whatever. Like, dude, I don't know, man. Be the worshiper, whatever you want to be. But when you start fucking with these kind of energies, you gotta understand you fucking with some serious, serious shit upon which you have no control, and you never will have control. You have an illusion of your influence. That's why it's very important not to get high off of your own supply. Yes, people will tell you amazing, da 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 da. Look, all that is great, but as you said, Brujita, with great power, comes great responsibility, and that's very true. Very true. In the meantime, definitely condolences to all those who, or the family of those who've lost their lives during that concert. It has happened before, and it will certainly happen again, unfortunately. But things of such magnitude, generating so much money, should set protocols in place to avoid this kind of nonsense. But again, there's that X factor that you just can't predict. And if you happen to be with volatile people as artists, because that's the thing, right? A lot of these people have never been prepared for, and I don't think people are really prepared for fame or for being known or anything like that. But I do think, however, that there's got to be a level where people around you should not enable you to do certain things and should keep you in check. And I think that there's such a level where people make so much money from you that you're just too high off of your own shit. As Keisha is saying, there's nothing as dumb as a crowd of multitude as well. And yet it must feel horrible as an artist, especially if your shows are about the craziness. For sure. Sure, man. And it's true, the crowd definitely doesn't think. Like, it's just, and you can see, I don't know if you've seen documentaries about, actually the way crowds move, etc. It's very interesting. People get hamped up and all of a sudden somebody that was very peaceful, because they feel like there's that squad thing going on, and all of a sudden you feel like you're invincible till some slap comes to your face, and then you get real checked proper. You know, that's not to say that one should not, raise against a form of injustice or anything like that. But in this particular case, you're gonna lose your life because some dumb fucks behind you are trying to get close to a stage. It's like, dude, like for the people who actually even, behave in such ways, it just shows how much they are high off of the guy that they're worshiping. Because at this point, and that's what artists need to understand. There are fans that will take you to the next level, you know, because of course it's normal. Your art will touch them in a certain way, and it will make them feel a certain type of emotion, and all of a sudden it's like, well, whatever he says or whatever she says will go, and they'll turn into real fucking bulldogs. You know, that's why it's important to just important to understand that being awarded, being given accolades for any accomplishments in your life is a great recognition, but it's something that should humble you more than should make you feel like you're the king or the queen of the world, because it's just not, man. You're just on a journey, and you happen to have had the chance to be recognized as you step into your calling, or you accomplish certain things that gave people the feeling that you're impacting them in a positive way, or not. Depends what it is that you recognize for. But yeah, nonetheless, one has to enjoy that moment, and I've realized through my career that I've never really taken the time to enjoy these kind of things, because funny enough, I was when earlier this year I was awarded best urban music album of the year in Belgium. It's the album that I did with Boddhi. And yeah, it's just funny. I was having the conversation with Keisha. I was like, it's interesting, man. For any of these accolades that I've had in my life as an artist, and 20 years in the game, I was always alone. Interestingly enough, and the fun and the joy that I would see other people be able to share with people around them. It's funny. I just never really had people around me to share it that way, or maybe I don't know. It just never felt like I could wild out, I guess. But not that it's in my personality, but it was just like, damn, okay, interesting. And at first it felt a bit sour in my mouth, but then I was like, you know what? It is what it is. There's a necessity to always look at the bigger picture, and not saying that none of this is great. Of course, we work hard in our lives as artists, as whatever it is that we do, to be recognized some way, shape, or form. At least set forth a path for the legacy that we're trying to create and leave behind. When we're gone from this form of existence. So one has to be able to welcome the blessings when they come, but also prepare for the challenges when they come, because one doesn't come without the other. That's for sure. I can tell you this much, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. It's your capacity to, however, be a resilient sort of human, and that force, that capacity, will make the difference between you and the other person next to you, who will get knocked on their knees and probably completely flat on the floor because they just can't handle a punch or handle a slap, or And don't get me wrong, just because somebody handled that shit doesn't mean they enjoy it or they can't feel it. Believe me, you feel it properly deep. But there's just something inherently determined and stubborn inside you that makes it so that you just can't give up. You can't give up. It's just a part of your DNA. You know? one must be very rigorous. Very rigorous. It's important. You know, rigor, consistency, you know. Yeah. And I know it's not fun. But, you know, the harder you work and the smarter you work. At this point, it's not even about just working hard, it's working smart. Because you can work hard and not add intelligence to your work, which will actually fail you in the long run. You know? That's right, sis. You gotta also work with spirit, with this, the spirit that inhabits you has to be, you know, vibrating at a frequency that is one of humility and one that always pushes you to move forward. Always. Always. You know? Telling you, man. As I said these words, I repeat them to myself. It's like a mantra. Because we're never there. When you think you're there, something comes and throw you off your balance and you're like, oh shit, okay. All right. But nonetheless, very honored for the award of being one of the 500 most influential African person in the world. That's, you know, I feel like, you know, some definitely should also, some others should make that list as well. Just like my brother K, but well, he has so many accolades and awards. But yeah, you know, we need to celebrate one another. We need to create, and that's why I want to commend as well. You know, those who are actually behind this award, Tropics Magazine. They really are doing a great job, and you know, it's not just artists. Huh? There's like bankers, lawyers, politicians, this and that and the other. Like, you know, it's a pretty interesting thing, and we have to encourage, you know, more actions like these. You know, that give their flowers to those who try their best to, you know, yeah, be a positive force for their communities and just overall on this whole thing we call the internet. You know. Go ahead. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to grow, and every accolade an opportunity to set a new bar. Could not say that any better, indeed. Zach is fresh. What inspired the Andy Ancestral Soul Mix? So, for those who don't know, I did a remix of a very famous diva, actually, Madame, the big sister Umu Sangare, one of the most remarkable voice on the African continent. And she did a song, very famous song called Andia. And I did a bootleg version of it, so a remix. And it is that very song that introduced me to her, because my father at the time was living in Mali, Bamako, where she resides to this day. And you know, he would go to her concerts because she has her own hotel, a venue, and you know, does her shows every Saturdays, I think, every weekend. Well, at the time at least. And you know, he would, you know, afterwards just congratulate her for performance and tell her, look, my son is a big fan, actually. You know, he did a remix of one of your songs, and he's gonna come soon. So my only inspiration was the music, you know. I just loved the song so much, and I was like, well, let me experiment, and that's what it was, experimentation. And I was very fortunate to meet her, thanks to my late dad, and she fell in love with the remix, you know, instantly. And yeah, the rest is history, right? After that, we really bonded, and she took me under her wing, kind of, you know. She paid for the video clip, supposed to shoot the video for that remix, and yeah, man, she accepted to be my guest on my second album, executively produced by Grammy Award winner Louis Vega, and yeah, man, rest is indeed history. Rest is indeed history. So yeah, man, as I said, and as many of my peers told me, those who truly are successful and who don't necessarily need to brag, actually they don't fucking brag. They don't even talk about their success because they're like, we're talking about like big names in the game. They don't need to say a word, because they for every accolade that you just said, Brita, for every accolade they've managed to amass through the years. They've set new bars, new challenges, new sets of goals, and I think that's what it is. It's always understanding that. So it's important to take a moment and just let the information sink in, but then, boom, you move ahead and you make sure that you go for the next one. Don't hold back, because without movement doesn't necessarily come the type of impact you want to see happening in your life and in the life of those you're trying to elevate. Thank you very much, Zach. Thank you. Very beautiful piece of music, both the original and the ancestral soul. Thank you for sharing the story out. Thank you for even checking the show. Appreciate that. Also, don't forget, family, press the likes. Press the likes. Very important. Press the likes for the show. Make sure you also get your merch. Go to my website, www.boddhi-satva.com, and get your Boddhiist merch. Be part of the movement. Support your artist. It's very important. And of course, subscribe to this channel. And yeah, keep on showing the love. It's always appreciated. Yeah, Brujita, true greats are only in competition with themselves. Exactly. Exactly. I really feel like I'm my biggest competition, but at the same time, I also feel like, so I don't look at others as competition, even though, it's funny because the industry, the business is trying to make it such a thing, but I'll always look at others as inspirations. If I hear somebody says, do something with their music in a certain way, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's fresh. I'll take that as an inspiration and, incorporate that in my creativity and make it mine, so that it still has its originality, but, making sure that we get inspired by others is very important, and we acknowledge that, Oh, Papa Kesha Mukulu Kuku Premier, le sponsor des sponsors. Thanks, Papa K. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Yeah, man. Some yearn, as Kesha says, some yearn the trophies, other focus on building. Exactly. And I think that's totally true, and it's a very sad distinction to make when you see people who have so much potential, but they're so focused on, just getting the creds and amassing whatever hype. I mean, makes very little sense to me. But you know what? I get it too. Each their very own, and we need a bit of all of these kind of people to make the world go around, I guess. But with that being said, fam, I just feel like we all we gotta take away from any success is just setting new bars, setting new levels, new goals, and working to accomplish them, and working to bettering whatever we need to better, so that the next endeavor we get to is approached with the most level of excellence possible. What it is for me, at least, But yeah, that's that, man. But bam, this was it. A little hour of me, well, a little less than an hour, about 45 minutes, 50 minutes of me talking about this award, and just making sure that I share some words of my personal impression and gratitude for this great award, actually. And the desire to just keep on working hard. Rohita, yes, to inspo, important to be in community with people who can inspire you to grow to greater heights. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. You gotta, that's what it is. Like, if you surround yourself with mediocrity, what's gonna come out of you? Mediocrity. And that's why, and it's funny because people say it's better to be alone than to be like in a bad company. For example, when it comes to relationship, like as in like romantically, but that applies to business, massive, massive. If you don't have the right people with you to help you structure yourself as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as an artist, as whatever, who will keep you in check, who remind you like you not gonna make it necessarily as far as you could because you're trying to make shortcuts. Because when you make shortcuts, what happens? You don't learn the necessary steps to overcoming the challenge that will await you for the next phase of the game, should I say? Right? So you gotta acquire the experience. But hey, that is not always easy for everyone. Yes, indeed, Papa. I'm gonna finish your beat. Don't worry, I got you. This week we are making sure that it's taken care of. On that, family, have a beautiful rest of your week. Make sure you subscribe once again to the channel. Make sure you, tune in Friday, Quarantine Grooves, back. Couldn't do last Friday because I was in London, obviously. But yeah, this Friday I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere, so tune in for the show. It's gonna be live from Casa Boddhi. Have a beautiful week, productive, and blessed indeed. Peace, fam.